Welcome to this explainer. So, have you ever wondered how someone actually owns a car dealership? We're diving right into the dealership labyrinth today, looking at financing, repairs, and where the real profit actually lives. We're going to look under the hood of how these complex auto retail businesses survive. And hey, if you think it's just about parking some shiny metal on a lot and waiting for buyers, well, you are in for a serious surprise. Let's start with the obvious stuff. You drive past a massive auto dealer. You see hundreds of gleaming big-ticket vehicles just sitting there on the lot. It's a beautiful sight, right? But seriously, how does a local business actually pay for all that metal? Even a smaller dealership can easily have inventory representing tens of millions of dollars in capital. I mean, that is a staggering amount of money. Very few businesses on Earth could ever manage that kind of cash out of pocket. So how did they do it? Well, dealers rarely pay cash for their cars. Instead, they rely on a highly specialized, honestly kind of precarious system of constant borrowing called floorplan financing. Think of it as a massive revolving line of credit, where the vehicles themselves are the collateral. And here is a wild insider secret for you. Up until the exact moment a customer drives a new car off the lot, the lender is actually the one holding the title to it. The flow of money to get that car onto the lot works in 4 basic steps. First, the dealer requests the inventory. Then, the lender pays the manufacturer directly. The dealer only repays that lender when the car is actually sold to a buyer. Pretty straightforward, right? But here's the catch. This whole setup creates a massive ticking clock incentive. The dealer has to sell that vehicle as quickly as humanly possible just to minimize the interest they owe. To really grasp the immense pressure of this system, just look at this jaw-dropping number. Recent data shows that the average dealership's floorplan interest expense just hit an astonishing $70,000 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. That is a massive 800% increase from pre-pandemic levels. Just wrap your head around that for a second. 70 grand walking out the door every single month before the dealership has sold a single vehicle. And if that inventory isn't moving, the pressure compounds incredibly fast. Lenders require what are known as curtailment payments. Basically, dealers get hit with payments of 5 to 20% of the loan every 30 to 120 days. Why? To cover the potential depreciation of the cars sitting on the lot. Plus, lenders actually send in physical auditors every single month to count the cars, literally walking the lot, making sure the investment is safe. It turns that glamorous sales floor into a really high-stress race against time. Now, what's really fascinating here is that despite all that massive risk and inventory pressure, the average new vehicle gross profit actually plummeted 33% in 2024. Dealerships are now making an average of just $2,247 per new unit sold. Remember those pandemic-era windfalls where dealers were making huge, effortless margins on every car? Yeah, those days are completely over. So, this leaves us with a pretty massive puzzle, doesn't it? With skyrocketing interest, crushing inventory debt, and crashing profit margins on the cars themselves, how do these places survive? I mean, how do they not just go bankrupt? Just when it seems like owning a dealership might be a terrible financial idea, we have to pivot our attention. We need to look away from the showroom and focus on the back of the building. This brings us to what we can call the iceberg business model, that highly visible, glamorous sales floor, which the industry calls variable operations, is practically just a loss leader. Sure, it brings in high revenue, but it's saddled with razor-thin margins, high debt, and insane volatility. But beneath the surface, you've got fixed operations, the service department, the parts counter, the body shop. This side deals in smaller transactions, absolutely, but it boasts fat, predictable, cash-paid margins that provide rock-solid stability. Take a look at this breakdown. While fixed operations accounts for only 10 to 15% of a dealership's total revenue, it remarkably generates roughly half of the entire enterprise's gross profit. Half. It's crazy. That unglamorous back of the house is literally the financial stability engine keeping the whole place afloat while the sales floor fights it out in a super volatile market. The absolutely crucial concept to understand here is the service absorption rate. This measures exactly how much of the dealership's total fixed costs are covered by the service and parts departments alone. Top-performing dealerships, they run an absorption rate of over 100%. In fact, the industry target is 115%. That literally means the service bays completely cover the rent, utilities, and all overhead before a single car is even sold. But capitalizing on this incredible stability engine isn't automatic. There's a famous saying, "That's how we've always done it," is the most expensive phrase in the dealership world. If you want to successfully operate one of these businesses today, treating the service drive like an afterthought is a dead mindset. You have to actively navigate the repair labyrinth and treat it like the data-driven profit center it really is. To keep that profit center humming, fixed ops directors obsessively track a few key metrics. They're looking at hours per repair order to see if advisors are effectively selling needed work. They check the effective labor rate to ensure the front desk isn't over-discounting services. And they closely monitor tech utilization. Basically, are their mechanics actively wrenching, or are they standing around losing money waiting for parts? It's a tight ship. Hitting all those benchmarks really boils down to mastering 3 foundational pillars of fixed ops: people, process, and parts. Mastering these is what separates the dealerships that absolutely crush it financially from the ones stuck in the past, bleeding customers to independent shops. Let's break down how these pillars actually work in the real world. Starting with the people. Good technicians are incredibly scarce right now. The industry is facing about 75,000 unfilled auto mechanic jobs every single year. And the data shows these professionals will quickly jump ship for a competitor if they're forced to work with broken lifts or undersized air compressors. See, since techs are often paid a flat rate based on completed jobs, broken equipment literally steals money from their paychecks. Upgrading that shop equipment, it's not just an expense, it is a vital employee retention tool. Next up is the parts pillar. A smart dealership views its parts counter not just as a warehouse, but as a literal bank vault. Every single part sitting on a shelf is cash the dealership cannot use. So they have to fiercely manage this inventory, aiming for a super tight 45 to 60-day supply. You have to ruthlessly kill off obsolete stock that acts as a boat anchor on the financials, all while making sure that techs have exactly what they need. And speaking of parts, check out this fascinating fact about customer behavior. Research shows that a whopping 75% of customers will service their vehicle at the exact same place they buy their tires. Let that sink in. Dealerships don't sell tires to get rich off the tire merchants. No way. They sell tires because it is hands down the single best customer retention lever they possess. You win the tire sale, you win the customer's maintenance routine for years. Finally, we have the process pillar. Dealerships are aggressively trying to escape old communication bottlenecks by fully digitizing the service lane. This is exactly why you've probably started getting those text messages with a video link from your mechanic. Instead of playing frustrating games of phone tag, they just show you the worn brake pad right on your phone. Add in mobile pay and buy now, pay later options, and it dramatically speeds up repair approvals while building massive trust. When all of these pieces are humming perfectly, it creates a brilliant closed-loop system with the sales floor. Imagine this playbook. The finance manager notices your warranty is expiring. The service advisor flags a really costly repair on your older car. But instead of paying it, they walk you right over to the sales floor. You buy a new car, maybe get an extended service contract, and immediately return to that same service lane for the next 5 years. It's a totally self-feeding ecosystem. Honestly, knowing all of this completely flips your perspective the next time you drive past a massive, glittering car lot, doesn't it? It leaves you with a really provocative question. Is your local dealership actually in the business of selling you a car? Or is that flashy showroom really just an elaborate, high-risk customer acquisition tool designed to secure the rights for the mechanics in the back to repair it? It's an incredible labyrinth, and well, now you know exactly how the owners navigate it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the world around you really works.